In this video, we are looking at how to complete a two-way ANOVA on SPSS. So first off, to input your data, you should have 3 total columns. So as you can see, they kind of get a little lengthy, but you want to input all of your data, like your numerical data, into one single column. So let me show you my table just so that you can kind of reference mine to yours. So all of this data is in this one single column. When I input mine, I usually do all of this row stacked on top of each other back to back, and then all of this row stacked on each other back to back, just because it makes it a little easier when you label them. When you do label them, it does get kind of confusing. So you should have 2 different columns for each label. So placebo versus drug has their own column, and then no treatment, conventional, or an experimental have their own column. So I find it really helpful to make these little numbers beside your data in your column. So you kind of label them as you'd label them in SPSS here on your table. So in SPSS, I made no treatment 1, conventional 2, experimental 3. And then you just kind of write them side by side, like which data gets what numbers when you label them, so that it helps you to kind of visualize that. So let me drag this over here so we can look at both at the same time. If you change this to numbers, you can see that this first set of data has all 1s for placebo, and then it switches to 2 for the drug that was used. And then over here it has all 1s because it was no treatment for both of those. So you do that all the way down, and that's how you would go about labeling your data, and then you would do the labels like you would normally right here. 1 placebo, 2 drug, etc., etc. So just a little tip, I do think it's helpful to write the little numbers in when you are trying to input your data. But I think inputting your data is probably the hardest part of running this test. So once you have all of that in there, we'll switch this back to numbers. You go up to Analyze, and you do General Linear Model. You go to Univariate, click on that. I'm going to reset it. So your dependent variable, that is the numerical data that you entered in this first column. That is your dependent variable. So you just drag that over. And then fixed factors are your 2 independent variables. So go ahead and drag that over. And then if you just want data, you can just click OK. However, if you want plots, so if you want some graphs as well, you would have, let me show you that again. You would have clicked on plots, and then you're going to first do your top factor here, drag it over to horizontal, and then your bottom factor in separate lines, and then add that one. And then you want to do that one more time, but you want to reverse it. So you want to put level of treatment, or your second option, horizontal axis, and then you want to put your first one on the separate lines, and then add that one. And that's just going to give you 2 separate graphs. And now you can click OK, and it'll pull up all of your data. So you can see all of your numerical things here. You can look at the significance between the factors, and then you can also see all of your graphs and things there. So that is how you do a two-way ANOVA.